notification. Awesome. Welcome, everybody. Hi, nice to see all of your faces. Okay, so what I wanted to do first, before anything else, is show you all something. Okay, so what I wanted to do first, before anything else, shush. Okay, cool. All right, so I wanted to show you, and I'd love for you all to do this with me as I take you through this really short, important little thing. So I want you to go on your computer, I want you to go into the Facebook group, the Warriors of Light Facebook group. I need to pull up another group that I'm not the admin of. So watch what I do, okay? So I'm going to click joined. I'm going to click manage notifications. And I want you to switch it to all posts. If you have highlights, you're going to miss some really important stuff, especially as we approach our launch. So I really want to make sure that everyone's getting the notifications from me because there'll be some really important information starting to come through. Does anyone have notifications off? Hopefully no one had notifications off. You did, Elias? Okay. I know now for next time at the very beginning of every container to do this. I only just realized that this was a thing, and even highlights, which is where you'll only see your friends' posts and then random Facebook algorithm decided posts. So has everyone done that? Give me a little thumbs up. Great. Awesome. Great to see you all. Okay, so today, before we dive into our official training, I just wanted to give a little, let you all know where we're up to in the process. This is the really beautiful period of time where we're editing and doing all the back end work, where you guys have done all of the hard yards in terms of getting your chapters written and handed in. Thank you all, everyone's chapters. We have them, and bios. Yay. Joe, I'll admit her. So that's great. And that's really like the big initial first push. So obviously it slows right down for you guys for the next little while. We are about 2/3 of the way through editing, and you will receive them back, your chapters back, early July. I believe the date is around the 3rd or the 4th. It's all in that document that I wrote and linked, the chapter specs and deliverables guide. It's all there. So what we're going to talk about today is essentially we're going to be looking at post-launch promotions, and this is a really important piece. Before we delve into that, I don't want to jump ahead. So we're editing chapters at the moment, okay? You will receive your chapters back, and you'll have 3 days to accept or decline the suggested edits. It's really important that we get that back by that deadline, because then we need to move really quickly into a proofread phase and then into formatting. And so that's it's all very tight to our calendar and our schedule. So I really need to impress the importance of honoring that timeline, that, you don't take any longer than the 3 days to read back over your chapter. You'll have the opportunity to make 10 minor edits. And the reason why we've put a bit of a restriction on it is because we really don't want anyone to be rewriting portions of their chapter. I really want you to take this opportunity to connect in with the version of you who wrote and submitted the chapter that you did, and recognize that that's the perfect chapter for this book. And we do not want any extra things added into it, because there won't be a second round of official editing, if that makes sense. It will be a proofread, but that is all. Okay, so this is really, really important. And hand on heart, can everyone please honor and take a little moment to really honor and acknowledge that. Okay, so from there, we will go proofread, we'll go to formatting, and then we'll start to really begin to pick energy on the front end up as we move towards our launch. Okay, so I'm going to start slowly talking a little bit about what I'm calling for this book, the launch portal. Someone has I think that must be Christy. Hey, beautiful lady. Yep, awesome. Thank you. So the launch portal. The reason why we pushed this book back a week is because I really wanted to have it align with the Lionsgate energy. Okay. So that Lionsgate energy officially begins on the 8th of the 8th, which is the Monday. So that's the day that our launch portal will officially kick off. So what do I mean by that? Well, we're going to talk a little bit more about that as we kind of nudge closer. But what I did for the last book, and there's a few of the authors who have jumped into this book as well, and it worked really, really well. I really want to experiment with this again. What we did was we set up our official Facebook group. I think we called it the Unapologetic Summit Launch Party. And so it's a launch party / launch portal. I kind of like the word launch portal for this one. And what we did was we ran a series of roundtable discussions where we got essentially a number of really powerful topics that were very connected to the authors. And then we set up a schedule, and we had, I think the most we had for each roundtable was about 5 or 6. That was starting to become a bit too many. So I want to say like 5 people per roundtable is a really good amount of people. And so it was essentially an open discussion on these really powerful topics. It went down beautifully well. We invited all of our people into the Facebook group. And then that group, what it did was it really supported us to build momentum so that by the time the book officially launched on the Friday, which we'll do similar for this, so the launch portal will open on the 8th. The book will launch on the Friday. So Monday it'll open, Friday it'll launch on the 12th of August. And by that point, for Unapologetic, by that point we had, I think, like 800 people inside that Facebook group. Everyone really loving what we were talking about, really fucking excited about our launch. So that by the time the book went live, it was a really seamless launch experience. We already had 800 people there who were super excited and ready to buy. So I really want to facilitate something similar. It will have a different feel, a different flavor, but something similar because what we're doing in our launches, which I really want to speak to the importance of this in your business as well, is we're building momentum. And momentum is one of the most important things on social media. And I liken it to a currency. You have to earn it. It takes time to build it. And once you spend it, it's gone, right? You have to start not so much from the beginning again, because the momentum that you build, like, it's always going to be really powerful. But if you spend that momentum and then do nothing, like if you build that momentum and do nothing with it, then it can take a lot of time to build that back again, essentially. So we're going to talk about this today because momentum in your business is one of the most powerful things that you can actually cultivate. And a book launch builds amazing momentum. So we want to do this consciously. We want to do this intentionally, slowly. Like, it's not something that we can build quickly, right? Momentum takes time to cultivate. And I really want to encourage all of you to start thinking about, how can I leverage the momentum and the visibility as well as powerfully and profitably as possible in my business. Okay, so that's what we're going to be talking about today. This is really where the rubber hits the road. It's where all of your shit, if you have shit in this area to like undealt with shit, it's where it's likely to rear its head. And we're going to be doing some sessions between now and our book launch on like really getting into the energetics of this, of visibility, so that we are moving into our book launch with everyone's nervous systems aligned. And that's a beautiful word they use in nervous system work. It's not aligned. It's going to bug me. I'll have to come back to it. It's essentially where two nervous systems can sync up together. Does anyone know the word? Feel free to unmute. Attuned, maybe? Recalibrated? Yeah, there's another word, but essentially that's what it is, where we're all calibrated together, attuned together as a cohort, okay? Because it takes on its own energy, right? So our beautiful project, our beautiful group, it's like our book, it's like it takes on its own energy. And what we realized in our last book launch was that actually what we were doing, synced, yeah, that's another one. I'll try and think of the actual word. What we realized is actually we're doing so much more than just launching a book, right? We're actually launching a movement. We're initiating a very important and powerful conversation. And so I really want you to see what we're doing with this book launch in the same vein. I believe this is an incredibly important movement and conversation to be initiating. And so as we go into this next phase, which is much more to do, like we've done a lot of the inner world work, cultivating storytelling, moving through any of the inner stuff that might be in the way, preventing you from speaking as powerfully as you know you can and communicating and writing as powerfully as you know you can. Now we're going to subtly start to bridge this inner world with the outer world, right? With the outer implementation, with the strategy, with the external steps to actually move this out into the world. And that's one of the reasons why I really love these projects so much. I can tell you how many programs I've run in the past where maybe group programs that, as an example, is all about like birthing and offering into the world, right? And maybe not every single person will get to that final point because of their own stuff, right? This is what we usually work through. But with these books, it's like a really powerful process and experience of actually manifesting from concept through down to the vision, all the way down those energy centers, out the root chakra into 3D reality. We birth something tangible. And if I had many of the books here, I would pick it up and show you. We birth a tangible product, right? A tangible thing. It's very powerful. If you've ever had any trauma around, like especially first chakra trauma around difficulties manifesting, having lots of ideas, but not necessarily really being able to ground them in something super tangible. And I know a lot of people can have this issue. Then I really encourage you to work energetically and metaphysically with that as we birth this book. There's great healing potential here in the lower chakras. Does that make sense? I feel like I'm kind of rambling a little bit. I hope that makes sense to you because, yeah, we can do this, we can do it unconsciously, publish a book, and awesome, yay, I have this beautiful thing, product that I can sell and an amazing marketing strategy that I can use moving forward. Or we can do it really intentionally, which is where we really bring great consciousness. Because let me tell you, especially as we nudge up against our launch date, shit's going to come up for you. It is guaranteed to happen. When it does, I encourage you to open your arms and welcome it. Do not reject it. Do not deny it. Do not try to avoid it. Open up your arms and welcome it. And remember, whenever this big stuff arises, especially as we nudge up against our upper limits, which is what we potentially will be doing, or what you potentially might experience as we move up against this launch date and beyond, the summit date, that's a whole other kettle of fish. But what I really encourage you to do is really work with what comes up. Okay. So whether that's inner child work, we will do this as a group, but we can't do it everything, right? Or, consciously leaning on all of your tools to actively process what's arising for you. Okay. Anyway, that's enough of that. So essentially this launch is going to be generating a lot of momentum, a lot of visibility. And I really want to start this conversation of what is it that you're going to be, how are you going to be leveraging it? Okay. So we like to think about what next level results are you calling in, especially as it relates to this book launch, because potentially there's a few of you who've done books before, multiple of you who've done books with me, but for the majority of you, this will be your first time published as a published author, your first time going through this process. It is a next level experience. Okay. So what kind of next level results would you love to call in for your business? So getting this intention and this clear vision is really important. Now we can look externally and say, well, what's the next level results we want this book to initiate upon the world? How do we want to really work with this movement? What is this movement all about? And we will continue this conversation as we go through into this second phase. But for yourself personally and for your business, what are you calling in? Okay, so it's really important for you to actually connect in with some really tangible goals. So the more intimate you are with this question and the more consciousness you bring to this strategy, strategically, what are you going to be working with, the better results you're going to get. Okay. So I invite you to bring all of that in, all of the potential fear and resistance that might be bubbling under the surface. Honor it, acknowledge it. It's okay. It's a part of the process. We don't deny it. Often the bigger the breakdown, the bigger the breakthrough, right? This can happen. This is my 4th book now. I've seen many breakdowns happen on launch eve. It's absolutely okay. And you might not even experience that, okay? But with that in mind, we want to really work with the next phase. Okay, so we're going to be talking about a number of different things today. I want you to take some notes and then we'll open it up for discussion. So some important questions to ask before we tip into the strategy. And I want you to really answer these really honestly, okay? Are you 100% claiming the power of your work? Can you hand on your heart say, I embody and own and claim the power of the work that I am here to facilitate? Or are you still playing it small? Are you still holding it back? Are you still dancing on the edges of the potency of your magic? I see now that there's a big difference between people who have a great experience in these book launches and people go, wow, that was awesome. I had an amazing personal transformation. It was really powerful for me personally. And people who go, that was powerful for me personally, and I saw a really big win in my business as well. 2 very distinct types of people. And I really want you guys to have both, not just to have this be something personal and an amazing inner transformation, but to have it actually lead to external results. Okay. So in order for that to happen, you must be willing to step into that future version of you who owns and acknowledges that they are a master of their craft. That the work they do in their business is the absolute epitome of their soul's work. And these are the transformational results that I facilitate through this work. Okay. So in order for this to be clear, we really want to know what are the tangible results that you facilitate. So a lot of the time, especially with people who work in the energetic realms, we will be looking a lot at intangible. It will be very easy for them to communicate the intangible results. What do I mean by tangible and intangible? It's pretty clear, okay? Tangible results. I can see it, smell it, hear it, taste it, feel it with my senses in my 3D reality. Intangible result. I feel a shift in my inner world. I have an energetic recalibration. I heal something internally, right? That will lead to an external tangible result, but it's an inner world experience. So having both is very important. Okay. So we really want to know, before we even start talking about the offers and, exactly what it is that you're going to be promoting, you want to know the results of the work that you facilitate. Okay. There's generally a very primary reason why someone will say to you, that sounds amazing. I would love to do this soon, but now's not the right time. Versus someone saying, this sounds amazing. I would love to do this with you right now. Here's my card. And it's often because you're not speaking enough outcome-oriented languaging in your content and in your promotion, your promotional material. So whether you really need to sit and really peel into the answers to that question, to that question, you want to know, what does my work facilitate for my clients? How does my work shift my clients' tangible world? How does it transform their life? Not just in the intangible, but in the tangible as well. So then, of course, we want to start thinking about the offers or the offer that you want to be promoting off the back of this launch. Okay, so obviously what we have here, we have our book launch in August and our summit in September. Okay, so there's 2 really powerful opportunities to be promoting off the back of. And it can be important to think with a little bit of strategic mindset here, having a look at your calendar and actually thinking about where you're going to, if you're going to be moving into a launch of your own, where you're going to be launching. Okay, so this will be important if you, for example, have a group program or a group offering that you're wanting to launch off the back of, an in-person event. If it's more of a one-on-one, like an up-leveled one-on-one offering, then it doesn't necessarily rely so much on a specific time that it kicks off or a specific date that your cohort will kick off. And so you're going to be able to really start speaking and promoting your one-on-one pretty much from the get-go. But if you have like a group offering or a retreat or an in-person event or something like that, that is time specific, then strategically planning when you're going to kick that off is going to be really important. The reason why we talk about this now, and we're 9 weeks before our launch date, is because this sort of stuff, you want to start planning it early, okay? Especially when it comes to your community and to building community. An old mentor of mine uses this beautiful term, and I use it all the time. It's fertile soil. You need fertile soil to launch to, okay? It's like you can't plant something in soil that has no nutritional value. It dies. The same thing is very true for you and for your offers, okay? If you don't have that already established community, if you haven't nurtured your people, if you haven't really prepped and primed them and gotten them really excited about what it is that you have to offer, then your offers don't take root. So the reason why we talk about this 9 weeks before our launch is because that takes time. Like momentum, you can't just click your fingers and have a really prepped and beautifully primed community of people, right? So if you're not doing any sort of content strategy or any sort of community building strategies to bring people together and to really start to form your own community, I highly encourage you to start that right away, okay? It takes time. What you might want to consider is some sort of space that you build your community in, whether that's a Facebook group, whether that's a particular hashtags that you use on Instagram, whether that's like a regular time that you make available for people to step into your world and learn from you, right? Whether that's through Facebook Lives or trainings on Zoom, opportunities for people to get to know you and your work. It's so, how often do we experience where, you know, we will have an amazing offer, we think it's amazing, and we put it out a little bit and then nothing happens, and then we retract all the way back in and we don't speak about it again. Or we might have a story about promoting and how, you know, we don't want to be seen to be promoting too much or to be too big for our own boots, or to be, you know, tall poppying all over everyone else. So we don't actually speak about the work that we do. We keep quiet, expecting other people to know what it is that we do and what it is that we have to offer. People do not buy offers if they don't know that you have them, right? So I know for myself, it's been many times in the past where I've done that. I've spent all this time and energy crafting these amazing offers and these amazing launch plans. And then when something happens, it doesn't go my way. It's like all my stuff comes up. I retreat, I do a dive. Well, I made it all about me, and nothing happens, right? Thankfully, I don't do that anymore because I've really had to look at this. Obviously, you don't have a business if you don't look at this. It's really important to look at what you have connected in with sales and promotion and visibility, any of those subconscious stories that can play out there, okay? So are you speaking about what you do? Are you talking about your client amazing transformations? Are you making sales? Are you even speaking about your offerings? If you're not, and you're wondering why no one's buying what you have, that's clear. It's clear what's going on there, okay? So once we've got a really clear understanding about the work that we facilitate, like how do you really clearly articulate what you do in a way that moves people to move? How do you talk about the results, tangible and intangible? We want to start to look at the offers, okay? So whether you have a one-on-one offer, it might be like a 3-month program, or even, you know, a 4-week intensive, or it might even be like a 3-hour deep dive immersion that you want to spotlight for this particular promotional period. You need to have a clear offer that you are offering. It's essentially the momentum and the visibility that we build will only be as effective as your power to leverage it is. Okay, so I'm going to be speaking about that a lot, and I'm going to be really bringing that home many times over, because this is where the rubber meets the road for you, in how you're willing to take this amazing momentum and visibility that we will collectively build and run with it. Okay, the only person who's going to get in the way of that is you, potentially. So what's the offer? What's the offer that you're going to be promoting? I want you to write this question down, and I want you to have a really clear answer for me for our next session. What am I promoting off the back of this book launch, or off the back of the summit? So the way we can work well with the summit and the book launch energy is, especially like I was saying before, especially if you have an offer that is date specific. So it is specific to a particular time in the calendar. What we can do, we have about 4 to 5 weeks in between our book launch and our summit. So you can really start with the book launch to publicly talk about and publicly educate your community on the important trigger points, talking points that are related to your offer. Okay, so it's all about initiating these conversations, getting these conversations happening. You might want to start delivering some mini trainings on this particular offer topic. So you're not talking about the actual ins and outs of what it is that you'll do inside of your trainings. But say, for example, if you have a training that you're running on inner child healing, for example, then in the 6 weeks leading up from, say, a couple of weeks prior to the book launch to, say, a week after the summit, you will have a series of really important topics and conversations related to inner child healing. You know, like, how do we know that we need to do inner child work? What are the signs and symptoms of having an inner child that is having a big time tantrum? Why does your inner child have these tantrums when you're pushing up against really important dates in your calendar, as an example, right? How to deal with your children when you have an inner child who's running out of control. So you can see very powerful different topics of conversations that you can start to flesh out once you have your offer in mind. So we can really reverse engineer your content strategy based on the offer results that you facilitate inside of that container, right? So getting clear on the offer, getting clear on the results, getting clear on the important conversations that you're going to be initiating, and then you can plug it all into your calendar. So say the summit happens in September, say you might want to kick off the cohort mid to late September, right? And then that way you can use this visibility and momentum in August to initiate these conversations with your people, to begin to provide opportunities for them to experience what it's like to be in your world, to be in your energy, to be in your space, whether that's through, you know, free mini trainings or low-cost paid trainings. It's important that people have some sense of the way that you work, for them to have a little experience. Not everyone needs that, but it's typically, most people need at least 30 to 40 touch points with you before they will invest in your work. Now, there's always exceptions to the rules, to that rule, but we want to think about the way you are actually showing up and moving people through what I call your sales vortex. So if you think about it like this, you and your business, you co-create together. You are not your business is not you, but you are both absolutely interconnected, and you create your own beautiful energy as you show up and do your thing, right? You and your business are at the center of this vortex. You have lead generation. Lead generation is what brings people into your energy field. How are you showing up and sharing your work with new people? How are you bringing new people into this conversation that you're having, into the world that you are facilitating through your transformational work? So we need a lead generation strategy. And I'm going to just give this very high level overview. Okay. So lead generation, bringing the right kind of people, not just any kind of people, but the right kind of people, the people who are perfectly positioned for your offer. Okay. And for your transformational work. And then we have the vortex itself. So these people come into our vortex, and our vortex spins. And as people stay in our space and experience more of our work, they spin closer and closer and closer towards us and our business at the center, until you say the most perfect thing or you make the most perfect offer and they say yes. and they move into that next level of work with you inside your paid containers. They say on average it takes 37 touch points for people to move someone from a stranger into a hot, I'll say lead, but a hot potential client, right? And so the more you show up, the more you share your magic, the more you help them to think about things in a different way, the warmer they are becoming. A beautiful mentor of mine, Mary, she says, it's not about teaching people, it's not about giving people tools in your free content. It's not about giving them like tips and tricks and things like that that they can go off and use. It's more about teaching them to think in a different way about the topic that you specialize in, right? So you're the one who actually trains the way they behave with you. So if you're, and this is where sales is always a mirror for what's happening for you in your world, right? If there's something going on in your sales and in your money, you want to do some powerful inner work to see what's being reflected back to me, right? So if you're being indecisive in your world and you're like, you have all of these little micro commitments that you've maybe committed to, but you haven't honored, or, you know, you've got some big decisions that you've been really deliberating on actually making, then you can bet your bottom dollar that you're potentially going to be moving people, pulling people into your sales vortex who are also in that space of indecision, right? If there's stuff that's happening in your relationship with money, you're very likely going to be attracting people who have stuff going on in their money. So it's really powerful to look at both sides of that spectrum. So what's the important conversation that you're having as it relates to your offer, as it relates to your soul work? And importantly, how does this conversation connect with the conversations that we're having in Warriors of Light? This is a very important question. And you really, really want to know, how do I connect this amazing book that I've just contributed to and these amazing topics that I've written about in my chapter with the broader conversation that I'm having inside of my business? How do they connect? How do they align? How do I weave those two conversations together? Now, this is going to take experimentation. And more importantly, it's going to take you actually talking and communicating about this as a broader conversation, okay? If you haven't yet announced to your audience that you're about to become a published author, please do that. That's really, really important. If you haven't yet started talking about why this book is important to you, why this book is important to your clients, why it's important to the vision that you have for the future, please do that. It's really important. You don't want to get to the point where a week before our launch date, you're like, surprise, I'm participating in this book and I really would love for you guys to help me with the launch. That doesn't work. People go, oh, right? You got to almost like work people up to, not work people up, but it's about building excitement. It's about building momentum, okay? So I'm going to be giving you lots of different things to think about, lots of different questions to ponder. If you like, I can come back in and do like a little summary in the description of this video, but these are the important foundation pieces to have in place. Now, some questions. What are my momentum building activities? What are the things that I do in my business that build momentum and build interest, that have me be seen by more people? What are my momentum building activities? What are my money-making activities? What are the things that I know I do and I call in clients? I know I tick that thing off my list and it leads actively, tangibly to money in my bank account. Do you know the answers to these questions? I can tell you what's not a money-making activity: spending 3 days building a sales page, deliberating on on the copy inside of your website. That will lead to money, yes, but it's not an immediate money-making thing, okay? Danny, you have to go. See you soon. How are you showing up and allowing yourself to be seen and offering your work to the right kinds of people? Okay. So one of the best things to do is what we're talking about here: create momentum inside your visibility strategy, create a consistent, powerful content strategy that actively moves people either into your inbox or onto a link to book a call. You can talk a little bit more fractured from there, like move people into your Facebook group or onto your email list. But really, at the end of the day, it's all about moving people into a conversation with you to see if they're the right fit, right? So whether that conversation takes place inside Messenger through voice notes, or whether you give them a phone call, or whether you actually jump on Zoom to meet them face to face, right? You should be like providing opportunities at any point, at every point, for people to connect in with you if they love what you're talking about and they want to go deeper on these areas of interest. Now, you know, the old school marketing methods were all about like uncovering the pain points and pushing those pain points, really rubbing people's noses in the pain points, right? And I taught a lot of those strategies back in the day as well. I don't believe that they are energetically in alignment anymore, especially in the online space, especially in the soulful business space. So now I believe it's much more about your person, your people, and their pleasure. Like, what is it that they are deeply yearning for in their life? What do they deeply desire to create? What would they love? What's the change they would love to see in the world and in their personal life? So you can still hold space for the pain, because we need to know where they are. We need to know like what their current reality is. And we can hold space for that and say, I honor that. I acknowledge that. I see where you are at, without getting their nose down and rubbing their nose in it like a dog that's done a wee, right? And at the same time, like really not even holding space, activating within them that it is possible for them to achieve the things that they deeply desire through the work that you facilitate. Okay, so experimenting with this. We've got 9.5 weeks until our book launch. I really encourage you to be creating more than you're consuming now. Okay, writing, recording trainings, going live, and a whole host of different types of content. Okay, so not just like sales content, educational content. You've got a beautiful opportunity to create awareness around these topics that you specialize in. And you want to do that so that you can start to really build that fertile soil. The conversation, what's the conversation that you are having with your people? What's this important conversation that you're shining a light on? Okay. So momentum building activities. And of course, it's not about like, I need to post every single day on Facebook, even if it's something that I don't feel is in alignment with what I want to say. It's like, I would much prefer that you do 3 really powerful, honest, open, communicated posts or videos than chuck 6 or 7 really average ones up. Right? The energy behind the content that you're creating is so much more important than just getting it up there and ticking it off the list. What are my momentum building activities? What are my money making activities? Okay. What's the offer that I'm going to be rolling into off the back of the launch? Is it a one-on-one? Is it a group? Is it time specific, or is it open-ended? Am I showing up and allowing myself to be seen? Am I teaching at every opportunity and not just adding to the noise? Like I just said, like we have a severe case of a world of online social media users who are absolutely in information overload and analysis paralysis, who are stuck in consuming far more than they are creating. Do not be adding to more of that. So if you're focused just on informational content rather than transformational content, if you're focused more on information rather than transformational content, you are just simply adding to the noise. Okay. So what content can you create that is transformational by nature, that plants seeds of awakening within your community, right? Seeds of awakening. That's what is possible with our content, like little tiny seeds that spark thoughts, spark a new way of thinking, or a new way of a new conversation that they potentially haven't pondered before. Little pleasure seeds that when they come across your content and your trainings, they go, I love what they're about. Every time I see this woman or this man's, their words, like something, it does something, it moves something within me. I'm sure you've all seen people on your Facebook who follow more of that traditional old school marketing, where you read it and it kind of leaves you feeling like, oh, like I'm trying to be tricked into making a decision that maybe I don't know if I really want to make. We do not want to be facilitating that energetic response, consciously or unconsciously, within our community and within our people, right? It's about empowering people. It's about holding space for what's possible. It's about saying, I see you, I see where you're at, and I'm sharing lots of storytelling content, which has you also see that I've been there. I've been where you are right now. And this is what I did to move myself out of it. This is what I did to create amazing transformation in my life. This is my process that I now take my clients on. And this is the amazing transformation that they're having. And more importantly, we want to show it, not tell it. Okay? Show it by storytelling and teaching through story, by highlighting our client testimonials and talking about the incredible transformations our clients are having. Collaborative interviews. If you can get if you work in an area where it's like the done thing, not so much the done thing. If you work in a space where your clients feel comfortable talking about the work that you do, and obviously not everyone works in that kind of a space, there's still ways that you can talk about this without going into the full details, though, of your clients and their wins. But if you can get your clients that have had great transformations into an interview with you, where you talk about the process you took them through, where they can share their experience firsthand, where they can, talk about why what you did worked so powerfully, that is like gold, absolute gold for your business, for your visibility, for your momentum. I was going to say for your authority, and it is about authority as well. Okay, come back over here, just make sure I've done everything. Oh, and of course, with your content as well, it's like, how can you facilitate little micro wins? Right? So it's like supporting them to think about things in a different way. And they're like, wow, I never would have thought to do things that way, or to think about life that way. And I'm going to actually take on what this person has said, and that's going to facilitate some epiphanies for me in my life, or some little micro wins. If we can facilitate this in our content, then it just contributes to that feeling of like, wow, whenever I stumble across this person's content, I feel amazing. Like, it changes my thought process. Like, it really inspires me. It encourages me to see things in a new way. We want to build momentum. We want to have a really clear offer. We want to nurture our community and really build fertility inside our community. And we want to position ourselves as the expert in our field, right? I know that phrase is thrown around all the time, but this positioning piece is really fucking important. Why are you an expert at what you do? No one else is going to offer this for you. You need to claim it for yourself. What is it that you're an expert in? Why do you have the authority to talk about this? Most likely because it's been a very big part of your life's journey and a very big part of your soul's development. And are you really claiming the transformational power that you facilitate for your clients? Or are you sitting back playing it safe, being quiet? Okay, so we have some time for open Q&A. I'm going to have some water. I have been rambling at you for quite a while. I hope that was useful. I'm going to move all of you so I can see you in gallery. Who has questions or comments or yeah buts? Who would like to raise? Yes, Elias, go for it. Hello.
Hello. Yeah, thank you very much. That was really inspiring. I do have a couple of questions. I would like to hear like an example, because you mentioned that a couple of times and I thought this is important.
Yeah.
What could be an example of like a sort of shit that could potentially come up? You've kind of shared this.
Yeah, sure.
An example with us.
Who would like to share an experience who's done a book with me? We've only got 3. Did anyone have an experience of this? Okay, look, I can share a personal. Yes, Steph, go for it, and then I can talk myself. Would you like to share?
I can share.
Go for it.
The last book that I was in Unapologetic, for me, I shared something that literally maybe, I think at the time, 6 people in my life knew about. So it was an experience that, you know, the crux of it was about, you know, a life lived in domestic violence, which on the surface, no one in my outside world would have been looking at me going, that's what you're living. So, and because I knew that through reading the story, anyone that knew anything about my life, which was a lot of people because I'm building a business online and I share about my life, and there's photos of people and et cetera, there was a heap of fear around people putting all the pieces together and going, oh, that's him, even though I'm not using his name, et cetera, et cetera. And I was still connected to his family. We have a child together, all the things. So there was huge fear around me actually truly being vulnerable and then being judged. Huge fear of being judged, huge fear of being criticized. And it all came to pass, you know, like I've only in the last month completely blocked everybody. Well, pretty much everyone on his family, even if I love them. And I love lots of them, even if we get along really, really well. Because, you know, there was things that would happen and I'd be like, what the fuck? Did someone seriously just react to me sharing something so fucking important in the collective conversation? Did they seriously just react that way? And they know me, they know this person, they know my children, you know, like it was intense. So for me, energetically, I'm like, yeah, no, there's barriers here now in terms of drawing my energy back in. And I live a very, very intentional life with my kids. So it's all about energetically for me and my children, you know, maintaining that level of that fortified, you know, container energetically for us. But there was a lot that came up around fear of judgment, fear of ridicule, fear of being, you know, blamed, et cetera, because I was very honest in the fact that, you know, there was self-defense involved in the main event that I spoke about. People could view that as me being violent, you know, like it's like, fuck, how's this going to be perceived? How are people going to receive this? And then what's going to come back, if anything? Yeah. So there was a lot of fear. And
you might not necessarily experience this, you know, like not everyone does, but it's, I talk about this. It's like, what's your personal brand of resistance? How does resistance rear its head for you? How does sabotage potentially, self-sabotage rear its head? For some people, it doesn't, and they can move forward uninhibited. But for many of us, it's very personal, it's very unique. And, you know, like one question we've spoken about, it's like, are you the kind of person that goes 100% of the way, or do you go 80% of the way and pull back? Or do you go 50% of the way and pull back? Because usually it will be either 50 or 80% or 100. So just knowing like what's your, if you have resistance patterns that rear their head, they're most likely going to rear their head as we approach our big launch event and our big summit. Our summit actually, in many cases, is sometimes bigger because it's about putting yourself out there on camera and teaching and standing in your authority and standing in your power and potentially making an offer. So yeah, there's lots of examples that we could give of different experiences that people have had. The reason why I talk about it is because if we don't talk about it and it's like this thing that not everyone, some people are experiencing and some people aren't, then it can become something that people can feel quite ashamed of or not talk about, avoid. They can retract from the group, they can go into shutdown, right? So I'm all about bringing this out into the open. If you have a resistance event rearing its head or a sabotage event rearing its head, the best thing you can do is openly communicate about it, because as soon as you say go live or send me a voice note or reach out to your book buddy if you have one and say, this is where I'm at, this is what I'm dealing with, it will usually neutralize it or reduce the charge significantly. Does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. And that led me to another question, and that's
Right,
it. That's
go for
all I have.
Yes, of course.
I definitely have resistance, and I know exactly what it is.
Okay, great.
It's the whole social media business.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not a person that like to be on social media,
Sure.
not because of fear of being judged. I've got
Sure.
nothing to hide, and I'm writing a book about my story. However, just this technology itself, I just feel, I've got resistance to it. And the next question would be, is there a way to outsource this momentum building kind of thing? It's got to have to be done.
Look, you can outsource it, but it won't have your unique frequency, and this is like when it comes, and at the same time, if you're not necessarily building an online business, it might be that the online space is not as important for you. Okay. So that's a decision that you need to make. Like maybe this is about you building local, and I know that you guys do a lot of local work. However, there is a great opportunity that you don't want to miss out on in the online space. So a reframe of how you use social media would be very powerful. Remember one, who was it who said this? I think it was Tariq. I don't know if you guys know Tariq Amawi. He's an amazing content creator. And he said, it's not social media. Think about it maybe as sacred media. It's like shifting the perception. So the opportunity for you to communicate and share your insights and your experiences, the ones that you're willing to share, and the transformations that you really specialize in a way that touches, moves, and inspires people around the world. Like there's a lot of darkness with IT and technology and social media, and I do not disregard that. But I think this is about us coming in with clear boundaries, coming in highly intentional, and coming in and seeing these platforms for the positives that they can provide, in that you can reach a lot of people. You can share powerful, life-changing content and, trainings with the right kind of people, provided you are energetically in alignment with what it is that you are saying, with the words that you're speaking, and with the teachings and the trainings that you're offering, right? It's like, why am I doing this? And often to get to that, we want to look at your bigger mission. What is it that you're doing in your business, and why are you doing it? Why, over and above and beyond the small, minute to minute impacts of having a business. It's like, really, it comes down to soul mission. How is your business reflecting your soul's mission and the transformation that you facilitate for your clients? How is that deeply connected to why you are here as a soul having a human experience? And when we come from that place and create from that place and teach from that place, man, it's so much more the frequency is so powerful that often it's like that is actually more powerful than, in many cases, the words that we're saying, when we're deeply connected to our why and our mission. Do you feel that you could answer that question succinctly and quickly? What is your soul mission, and why? How is it connected to your business?
Yeah, no, 100%. I'm pretty clear on this. How to empower others to really connect with their higher self.
And why? Why is this important?
It was very important for me personally to be able to see that the shift in me, and how it opened me to expand and be able to share my own truth. And I know, and I've seen the light in others when they opened up and really connected, and to basically share the light. So I know that we are the warriors of lights, and how can we empower others so they can create the ripple, so they can take that light and move on.
This is the conversation that I would love to see you initiating, because, okay, technology aside, and I've got goosebumps. I always get goosebumps when something's really, powerful. All of the bad shit aside, can you see how important this conversation is for you and for your soul tribe? and how like it's not just about here's a photo of my dog, or here's what I had for dinner, or here's like great Aunt Judy playing with my kid. It's so much more powerful than that. It's about like initiating incredibly transformational conversations and supporting people to see the world maybe in a different way, in a way that you see thanks to your experiences that you've had. So already what you've just said, then we can pull that apart and create probably 5 or 6 different powerful either trainings or content pieces, like how you came to truly connect with your higher self, and like, why did this change your life? What were you dealing with? What was the trigger point for you to go, I need to do this higher dimensional work. I need to do this healing work. And why did you suddenly become so connected with this that you turned it into a business? And then, the importance of facilitating this with your community. So you could take what you just said and extrapolate it out into probably 5,000 words worth of content, plus, of course. So I encourage you to start to see if you can shift your mindset around it, because it is very powerful. And, even getting on video with Zoe, doing like a live streamed, where like you maybe on Zoom so they can see both of you and talk about these things, talk about what it is that you do and what your collective mission is for the two of you, why sacred journeying is so important and so powerful, and just watch what happens, right? Like, be curious, bring in that light curiosity, that playful curiosity, rather than that heavy, like, fuck social media. Hope that helps.
No, brilliant. Thank you very much. Much appreciated.
My pleasure.
Yeah, I just wanted to speak into that if I can, just with something that might help Elias as well. One, like, totally agree in terms of, like you said, Elias, like, we are the warriors of light. So getting on and using it to back that energetic transformation instead of the energetic transformation that we know is possible through that space, which is, so fucking toxic. But getting in there and knowing that that's what you're using it for, and that's what you've got the power to use to offer the world. But also, not in terms of the lives and stuff, but depending on how you like to create content, if you don't want to be on there a lot creating it. So I'm a little like you. I can see it for both sides of the spectrum, that whole platform and that whole world. And I don't love sitting on there. And I actually never sit on there and create content. So if I'm writing a piece of content, I always write it either in my notes, generally in my notes on my phone, and I've got a social media file where I file all of my pieces of content into that, and then a documenting. But then what I was thinking, what dropped in is that depending on how you like to create, if you wanted to, like Tash just said, take what you just said, go write 5,000 words, split it up into 6 or 8 different posts, and then there's a platform called later.com. And I don't know if you've ever heard of it, but in terms of outsourcing, if you wanted to outsource, if you've got a VA or something, then you could provide the copy and a photo and get them to schedule your content. So then it's only when people are engaging with your content online that you have to get on and engage with them, respond to comments, et cetera, which is all high vibe, right? Like, generally, I don't know about you guys, but I don't get many comments where it like is a downer on my post, but it can happen. So, but most of the time, and even if that happens, right, it's still an opportunity to support someone and support yourself to grow. So then the only time you're going to be on social media is to engage on your post, but your post is actually launched through later.com. So you link your social media accounts to it. You can, you can have Facebook, Instagram, other accounts. Depends if you want to pay for an account or just have a free account. I don't pay for it. And then just, schedule. Like, I think you can schedule up to a month in advance. So
that's awesome. Later.com, is it? Later.
Later. Later.com.
Later.
Later.
Beautiful.
Later. Yeah, later.com.
Beautiful.
So there's other scheduling tools, but that's one I've used, which I've always found really like simple. You can put your hashtags in there for Instagram, all that type of stuff.
I think it's about having boundaries, really, because it's so easy. Like, I know I can like open social media. It's like you put your brain into it and then an hour later you're like, what just happened?
Yeah.
Not an hour later anymore for me, thankfully. Yeah. But, and we don't want that, because then we move into consuming more than creating. And the more we consume, the more it fractures our energy field, the more, the more we're outsourcing our energy, really. And so how can you create really powerful boundaries, sacred agreements with social media? Yeah.
That might be like a day. That might be a day where you create like 2 weeks worth of content. And then, as I said, if you've got a VA, you outsource it, or part of that day is just go in and schedule it all for whatever time and day suits you for that post.
Beautiful. That's a great recommendation, Steph. Does anyone else have questions or comments? Yes. Beautiful Alison. Hello.
I have a couple. The one thing that just popped into my mind was, can I add on my bio where we have like our email and stuff like that?
Yeah.
Can we add a public speaking or media interview request email?
Yes, you could. Yep. You could, provided you don't go over the word count. What I would encourage, I mean, it might be a bit late. Oh no, look, you could, if it was part of your 10 micro changes, you could put it in. But having some sort of, whether it's like a link to your website that has it clearly laid out, or whether it's a like a link tree or something, so that it's easy. It's like not too many links for people to navigate. You make it easy and seamless. Does that make sense?
Okay. I can just add that because I already have a link in the chapter.
Beautiful.
That will take them through to a portal to move deeper into
Beautiful.
work.
Great.
So I can just add that in small print at the bottom for any inquiries.
Yeah.
Because I'm really focused on, my intention is really to leverage this for like podcast interviews, media interviews. I would love to do some locally, like possibly.
This will be amazing for local press.
So I think just the PR and media is really my main focus.
Sure. Great. Well, that's super clear. And you're in the VIP container too. So I'll be like really holding space for you with accountability for that. So I would encourage you then you can start prepping for this, right? So how does your chapter connect with your story? And we'll dive deeper into this in a lot more detail when we talk about media and PR. One of the big things is like, you want to think about like potential newsletter headlines that you can provide inside of your PR one-sheeter. So we'll be creating like a one page that you can send off to all of the local and international publications that has everything they need to know. It's like a media release. Everything they need to know on the one page, including conversation talk points, so topics that you love talking about, links to all of your important links, your bio, potentially a link to like a Dropbox with different photos, so that it makes it easy for the journalist to take that information and turn it into a piece. So you really want to be thinking about your angles, like what's your unique angle and why this conversation that you're having inside of this book is important to the publication's audience. That's the angle, like where those two things meet will be your unique angle, because they all want to know what's in it for their readers.
Right.
Yeah? So the more you start to think about that and like really start wrapping your head around it, and obviously getting your list together, what are the top 10 different publications you're reaching out to, local and international, like these clear defined steps, which we'll go into a lot more detail about this, but this is really important for you to wrap your head around it now, especially if you want to really run with it off the back of the launch. With momentum from a book launch, there is such a thing as leaving it too long. It's like, hey, I launched this book a year ago. It's not quite the same as just launched it, hit bestseller, local. Where do you live in America?
I live in the heart of the Midwest, Kansas City.
Beautiful. So local Kansas City woman or local Kansas City entrepreneur becomes a best-selling author by sharing her story about why the American dream is not your real dream, right? Like start visualizing it and like really stepping into and embodying that. And especially like local interviews, whether that's radio or TV, like you want to start putting your feelers out now. If that's your real priority, like your priority or intention for this. Okay. Because let me tell you, the next 10, 12 weeks are going to roll around really quickly.
Yes. I've been preparing all of the pages and everything that are going to host what I plan to.
Beautiful.
Because I feel called to give a little something more than just inquiry questions to start the illumination process for people. So there's a portal from the book, and then there's a deeper portal through the summit.
Beautiful.
And so it kind of feeds into each other type of thing.
Yeah, well done. That brings me to something I meant to say while everyone was in my little training before, and that is a great thing to start setting up is like a lead, like one, what am I calling, an opt-in page for people to leave their name and their email if they want to go on your list to be oh God, I'm butchering this, to be emailed when the book goes live, right? It's like an inquiry form so that you're capturing their email. And then when you start talking about the book, which you will be doing soon, if not soon-ish, it's like people go, oh my God, how can I find out more about this? It's like, well, here's a link, leave your name and number and email address, and I will share with you more information when it's live, right? So that's a really, really important thing to set up if you're wanting to capture people's email addresses.
Thank you for saying that. So I've posted once, I think, but to everybody that liked that, I'm going to private message them once I have the opt-in link. So they can do that.
Yes, exactly. Beautiful. And you'll be getting promotional graphics soon as well to start sharing with them as well. Yeah, was that what you're going to ask about? Yeah. So there is the folder that has all of your initial promotional graphics, which you will be able to use some of them. It's like, I'm a featured author in this book, but we'll be uploading all of those promo graphics soon. Awesome. Anybody else have?
Sorry, where is that saved? The initial promotional graphics? Where's it?
I'll have to get Jen. It's a link. It'll be in the Facebook group somewhere, but I'll pull that up into the main guide section so it's easy for you all to find.
Thank you.
No worries. Did anyone else have questions? So Steph and Annabelle and Natalie, is there anything that you noticed from the last book launches, whether that was with me or with another publisher, that you thought worked well, or that you thought really like you wanted to really hone better? And you might not know the answers to this now, but that would be really great feedback for me as we approach our book launch as well. Like, this is what I've seen worked really well. This is what I thought could have been oiled a bit more seamless, like could have been better oiled, that kind of thing. That would be really awesome too. Like, let's make this a real collaborative process so that the book launch goes as well as it'll go well. Like, it'll go so well. The other thing is, like, people on your list, people on your Facebook page, people in your community, you want to be calling in the other warriors of light. And I'm sure your people, like your profile, your list will be full of people for the warrior, like that are warriors of light, that really identify with that, right? With that phrase. So like actively start calling them in. Yes, exact dates. Okay, that was the other important thing. All right, so we can sort this out and then we'll jump off our call. Let me pull up my calendar. All righty, so. All right, so we're the 12th of August. 1, 2, 3, 4. So the week that I was looking at, I'm pretty sure, was either the 12th to the 16th of September or the 19th to the 23rd. And we can play around with whether we want to do Monday to Friday or Thursday to Monday. There's different feels to that. Personally, I like to keep the weekends for me, but some people really like to do things over the weekend. Yes, Annabelle.
I just booked a retreat from the 17th to the 24th. I'll be in France.
Oh, you'll be in France. Okay.
Yeah.
So you'll be like offline?
Oh, yeah, I'm doing a Mary Magdalene pilgrimage.
Oh, Mary Magdalene. Amazing, amazing.
she's
Okay,
done
but
for
would
me.
the week, would early in the 12th, the week of the 12th work?
Yes, because
Yeah.
I think it was planned to be from the 8th to the 12th, wasn't
Yeah.
it?
Yeah.
No, so it's September the
Yeah.
5th to the 9th, the week before, or
We just don't
Uh-huh.
want to do it too close to, like, I think 4 weeks. So 1, 2, 3, 4. I think if it's 3 weeks, it's all it, like, I think personally, I think 4 weeks, that would be the 12th to the 16th. We might have it, we would have room for either a week before or a week after, but I mean, it's good to land a little bit energetically after the book launch and then shift into the summit. I mean, I'm open to it. Natalie, I know with Shannon's launch, it was all kind of within a couple of weeks, wasn't it? The book launch and then the summit. How did that feel?
that's true.
Yeah, I actually really like the fact that the summit was, I think it was 2 weeks or so after we launched the book. It really kind of kept everything fresh and kept people in the group as such. Yeah, and then because I feel like 2 weeks is fine for integration. 2 weeks is fine to land and let the energy settle, but you don't really want to lose that like hot audience, the momentum that you've created by building all of this up throughout the whole time. So it felt really good for 2 weeks, but you know, everyone's different, so
sure. I know, I also know the universe loves speed as well. So like we used to do 8 weeks, and then remember with Unapologetic, I was like, it's too long, you know, it was too much of a break. So then I thought maybe 4 weeks would be good. We can play around with it. I'm facilitating a retreat the 25th to the 29th of August. So look, I think maybe the week would be the 5th to the 9th. Maybe that would be a good week. It's not too far stretched out. I just want to make sure I have enough time to land after my retreat that I'm facilitating. So look, we can put it up, maybe a poll to have it either the week of the 5th of September or the week of the 12th. How does that sound? Because it would be good to have the whole group in on it.
Perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alison, is that okay? If I do that, we should know in the next 24 hours.
Yes, that'll be fine. And then my other question is, during that week, are we speaking each day or just one or 2 days?
That's another important thing. No, it'll just be you for your 60-minute masterclass, workshop, activation, whatever you choose to call it. It's great for everyone to be, if you can, to be like in the space, supporting the other authors, contributing in the group, but it is not essential. So if you have a really busy week, you would want to just make sure you have time for your workshop or your masterclass, whatever you call it. Some people have funny like things with the word masterclass. So like, you don't need to be there every single day, showing up every single day, not at all. It's more just about your you having space to be in there for your workshop. And then obviously, like for people that ask questions, like you want to devote time to answering them and to being present in there for that.
Do you know a time of day that it's going to be, like this time of day, or?
So what we'll do is I'll set up a calendar, and usually it'll span so we will have various times because we've got 22 people and we've only got 5 days. So what's that? Maybe 4, 8, 12. Yeah, probably 4 sessions a day. So there'll be different options. The one thing I would say is that this kind of time right now is good because it obviously it gets Australia, it gets the United States and Canada. Depending on the time of the year, it will not be so good for Europe, but we don't have many Europeans. In fact, I don't think we have any Europeans in the book, this one. No. Okay. So yeah, this kind of time is a good time typically because you've got both of those time zones, but we will have opportunities for evening in Australia. You know, I think your evening, what time is it now for you?
It's 9:15 p.m.
Right. So what is it, 12? So from 8 a.m. So what's that? 6, 7, 8, 9, 5 or 6 your time through to this time and after would be a really great time for you, but to make sure that you get both of the time zones. Yeah.
So would it be easier then, since I have to reserve these days off now, would it be easier for me to just pick a day out of each of those weeks?
Yes, absolutely.
To take off, and then
once the calendar's up, you shoot your name in. Yeah, totally.
Okay. I'll just do that then. I'll pick one for each one of those weeks, the week of the 5th and the 12th. And
so I'm going to do it on the Tuesday or of that week, and I'm going to block off the other week as well. Beautiful. Awesome.
Perfect. Okay. Thank you.
Cool. Great. And we'll do more trainings around the summit as well. Like, you don't need to worry too much about that now. Yes, Annabelle.
So on the 8th, we've planned to have a call at 1 p.m. You know, so you said you're we're opening the group on the 8th of the 8th.
The 8th of the 8th, yes.
So
1 o'clock, yes,
1
that's
o'clock,
right.
yeah.
So that's going to be like, actually, that's a good point. Maybe I'll have a look at. I might end up shuffling that because I might end up shuffling that to the 1st. Because we really want to have a session the week before of that. I think I set it for the 1st initially because, I think I'll move that. I think I'll move that from the 8th to the 1st. So we have one session the week before where we can really iron out the launch details. And then on the 8th of the 8th, we officially open up the portal and kick it off from there. Thanks for bringing that to my attention. I'll be shuffling that, guys, to the 1st. I think, provided I've got no more bookings at that time. I might have to shuffle some clients. Okay, I will.
Can't do the 1st.
So everybody knows because it's planned for the 8th. And then maybe should we do a live in a Facebook group to?
We'll iron all of that out as we go further along. So obviously, like if we're going to do like a daily roundtable discussion, that's something I'll probably start organizing that in the next couple of weeks. I think get the ball rolling with that, so it's not a last minute thing like it was for the Unapologetic project. We're like a week before, oh my god, we got to organize this. It just contributed to all of the mayhem. No, it was good.
I think I can contribute to say, because in the other launch I did to really organize a post per week, and get this momentum, be nice and gentle. You don't have to push, like you're slapping your audience.
Yes. You also don't want to overdo it either because you don't want to get it. You don't want to get it by Karina.
And I think in the past, what's been really good is to really promote others.
Yes.
From the group,
Absolutely.
And to support each other there.
Yeah.
So is Tim Wild still in it? Because he's from Europe.
No, he is. And I invited him in and he said yes. And then he just never responded to any of my messages about his chapter. I have a whole list of about 5 different questions where I've messaged him and he hasn't even seen it. Like he hasn't even, how you can see. So I think I feel like he might have been avoiding it. I don't know. So I've reached out to him so many times because he didn't hand in a chapter. It's a real shame. And I almost wish he didn't say yes in the beginning if he wasn't planning on doing it. I know he's very busy. I personally love clean and clear communication. It's like if I can't get something. So I'm a little bit dirty about it, to be honest. I will probably just, I don't know, maybe release on it and let it go. So I'm not, I don't think so. Unfortunately, it's a real shame.
So he didn't end up ending her.
No, I sent him a number of hey, our chapter dates, because he hasn't been to any of the trainings either.
Yeah.
And I guess that's what happens when you invite some people in, like I invited him in. It was, and so it's a lesson for me. I think that commitment is really, but I've invited other people in and they were really great with the time commitments as well. So I'm a little bit, I feel sad about it because he's so amazing and he's been a great contribution to the book. But if he didn't prioritize it, then obviously the submission date would have come around quickly and maybe he just avoided it. I don't know. He hasn't responded. Yeah.
Okay.
It's a shame.
It is a shame.
It is. Yeah. And he's got an amazing community as well, like a really big following. Yeah. anyway, anyone else with questions? Mariana, I'll be reaching out to you, darling, in private messenger to answer your question about your photo. I'll touch base with you once I, some point this afternoon. Natalie, yes.
Yeah, sorry, I just wanted to add, and just on the back of what you shared there, I feel, and this didn't happen in Unapologetic, but in the other containers that I've been in, I feel this is such an important part of this whole process of being in this container is support.
Yes.
And clarity is so freaking important. And quick responses between the publisher and the author as well. And I found that you're really good at that, Tash, and you're really busy. And I'm like, sometimes I'm like, oh, poor Tash, she's got probably a million questions to answer. But I found what really lacked in the other group was that there was no communication.
Sure.
There was no responses to our questions. And you don't always want to go in the group and ask the question in the group. You just want to have that support, that one-on-one support, whatever it is. And, sometimes your shit comes up.
Yeah.
And it might be comparison, or it might be procrastination. And you just need that little bit of extra support from the publisher.
Yeah.
So I feel like clarity in communication is such an important part of this process of being an author and publisher in this relationship that you have.
I love that. Thank you for presencing that, because it's something I haven't experienced. Like, I've done books with other publishers, but I think that personal experience is really powerful for me. And so, yes, you're so right, the clarity. So that's why, like, my inbox is always open. If anyone has questions or like, shit, this is real, just got to voice something out. The other thing is, if it's a tech related question, Genevieve, or a scheduling related question, Genevieve is great for that too. So everyone, I think, has been communicating with Jen in Messenger already. So that definitely, if for whatever reason you've messaged me and I haven't gotten back to you right away, it's a great thing just to touch base with Jen and say, hey, give Tash a nudge, or even jump in again, just pushing this to your inbox, Tash. Like, I'm not going to get offended or anything like that if you do that. So thank you. Clarity is really important. The other thing was, Annabelle, what you said about interviews. I'm going to be doing some interviews with the authors soon. There'll be little 20-minute interviews on my personal page where, I can then we can download the video and you can use that on your media file on your website or anything like that. So that's something I'm going to be doing. If anyone else wants to collaborate together and initiate these conversations, that's a fucking brilliant idea.
Yeah, I can interview in my group, because I've got this.
Yes.
I have a great group, Women's Social Circle. We're about 900 ladies in there.
It's a beautiful group, and you're so you show up in there all the time. I'm always so impressed.
I just, I have my little rhythm, and so I just started to do more interview again, and I love that actually. Because I feel like that's what I do, to shine your light.
Yes.
Yes. And basically, so I have a form, interview form, and I can put a post. I put a post in the group and say, who would like to be interviewed, and it's, whatever happens, it's really to put the energy out there, and it just to share our work, to support each other.
Yeah, absolutely. So I could even do a post, and so if other people have groups that they love, by Joe, if other people have groups that they are happy to do interviews in as well, I could be great to collaborate that way in between the different authors as well. Yeah, great idea.
I think it's really good, and it brings a bit of variety. People not just reading about you, they learn about others, and people love that. So
absolutely. And it's the great thing about multi-author books is that they are about collaboration, and the power of collaboration. We don't have to do it all on our own. And that's, there's such great power in collaboration. And of course, for the group itself, the more we do this, the stronger the group becomes, the more those beautiful little connections within everyone, within the group come, and it forms a stronger knit community, And that's really the magic. That's such a magic piece of participating in projects like these, is that we're doing this together. You know, like I know, Alison, you've launched your own book, but like when you do go through that process of launching and you have a group of other people who are going through the same process with you, that's gold. That's so valuable. You know, it's such a valuable thing. So thanks for bringing that up. Alrighty.
Yeah. So I got an article I've booked, you know, in the New York, it's a journal, digital, and that's going to be at the end of July.
Well done.
And then I was, you know, this lady asked me friend on Facebook, and she's going to interview me on the 8th of the 8th.
Oh, beautiful.
Just before about the book, and we had a great, you know, connection.
Yeah, great.
She has this April, Hello Brains. She's very funny.
Okay, cool.
April Mahoney. Awesome. She's got a great
yeah, that's great, Annabelle, because you know,
and it's like putting the energy out.
Yes,
you know, like for me now, I don't ever anymore look for what's going to come back to that. It's like, no, just put it there, there, and it comes back anyway. It's just it never comes back from the same place.
It's all about like putting yourself out there, being seen on a bigger stage. Alison, that's why I'm so thrilled that you're like really committed to diving in and leveraging the PR opportunities, because people spend a fucking lot of money on PR and publicity, like thousands, tens of thousands of dollars. This amazing PR woman who I'm connected with on Facebook, if you do her premium PR package, it's $70,000. Now, that's being featured in like all the big ones, but still, you know, it's a really valuable piece to this that a lot of people don't actually follow through on because of all their shit coming up. I don't want to be persistent. I don't want to reach out. Oh, that person didn't get back to me. Must mean, you know. So yeah.
I think what comes up for me, I've been prepping myself. Like I mentioned to you privately, like I've been doing the subconscious work, and like, cause I'm really called to go in this direction. So I've been prepping because I know how important that is, because I want it to be sustainable, and my field naturally brings me opportunities.
Yeah. So
and I will admit, I have had a sense of entitlement in the past because opportunities always find me, but I wasn't always prepared to seize them and own them. So I'm totally ready to learn that side of things and just have fun with it. So
yeah, that's great. So we'll also get together some, like, you know, it'd be great to, I've got a document, I haven't added to it for a while, but like a document that highlights like all of the major podcasters and their emails, and, you know, so, and there's another Facebook group, actually, I'll quickly show it to you before we sign off. Just so, like, if you haven't joined this, please do. It's a brilliant group. Podcast guest collaboration community. Find a guest, be a guest. It's awesome. So you can put a post up with a photo and say #be a guest. This is what I love to talk about. This is my jam. Who wants to feature me on their podcast? It's a really, really great one.
Do I mention the book?
You can mention I have an upcoming book release. This is the topic, or I'm a best-selling author in this book. Yes, definitely. Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
I know that's really the only thing that's been holding me back is the saboteurs. I don't know what to say to reach out.
Okay.
So that's what's been tripping me up.
That's an easy one we'll overcome. Yeah. So, you know, I have an upcoming book launch. It's called Warriors of Light, Leaders of the Great Awakening. I talk, you know, these topics. Who loves talking? Who's a light worker? Who, you know, who has a podcast that is service? Who's your ideal client, right? That's the other thing too. You want to get on podcasts that your ideal clients are listening to.
Yeah. So right. And then isn't it just about talking then about what I can do for their people?
Exactly. Yes. Right. So what unique angle, once again, can you contribute? What powerful conversation, you know, what story can you share? That kind of thing.
Perfect. Before I go to bed tonight, I'm going to start the list of 10 people that I want to send it to.
At least. So 10 is a good start. If you can send it up to 10, I got to go. Mariana, I'll touch base with you in Messenger now, darling. Alrighty, guys, take care. Thank you so much.